Two Solitudes, written by Hugh Maclennan. Published by McGill Queen's University Press. Read by Alain Goulem. Love consists in this: the two solitudes protect and touch and greet each other. Rainer Maria Rilke. To Dorothy Duncan, with admiration and love. Foreword. Because this is a story, I dislike having to burden it with a foreword, but something of the kind is necessary, for it is a novel of Canada. This means that its scene is laid in a nation with two official languages, English and French. It means that some of the characters in the book are presumed to speak only English, others only French, while many are bilingual. No single word exists within Canada itself to designate with satisfaction to both races a native of the country. When those of the French language use the word Canadien, they nearly always refer to themselves. They know their English-speaking compatriots as les Anglais. English-speaking citizens act on the same principle. They call themselves Canadians, those of the French language French Canadians. I should like to emphasize as emphatically as I can that this book is a story, and in no sense whatever documentary. All the characters are purely imaginary. If names of actual persons, living or dead, have been used, it is a coincidence I have done my best to avoid. The parish known in the story as Saint-Marc-des-Érables is also imaginary. There may be other Saint-Marcs in the province of Quebec, but they are not mine. Part 1. 1917 to 1918. Chapter 1. Northwest of Montreal, through a valley always in sight of the low mountains of the Laurentian Shield, the Ottawa River flows out of Protestant Ontario into Catholic Quebec. It comes down broad and ale-colored and joins the St. Lawrence. The two streams embrace the pan of Montreal Island. The Ottawa merges and loses itself, and the main stream moves northeastward 1,000 miles to the sea. Nowhere has nature wasted herself as she has here. There is enough water in the St. Lawrence alone to irrigate half of Europe, but the river pours right out of the continent into the sea. No amount of water can irrigate stones, and most of Quebec is solid rock. It is as though millions of years back in geologic time a sword had been plunged through the rock from the Atlantic to the Great Lakes and savagely wrenched out again, and the pure water of the continental reservoir, unmuddied and almost useless to farmers, drains untouchably away. In summer the cloud packs pass over in soft, cumulus Pacific towers, endlessly forming and dissolving to make a welter of movement about the sun. In winter, when there is no storm, the sky is generally empty, blue and glittering over the ice and snow, and the sun stares out of it like a cyclops' eye. All the narrow plain between the St. Lawrence and the hills is worked hard. From the Ontario border down to the beginning of the estuary, the farmland runs in two delicate bands along the shores, with roads like a pair of village main streets 1,000 miles long, each parallel to the river. All the good land was broken long ago, occupied and divided among seigneurs and their sons, and then among tenants and their sons. Bleak wooden fences separate each strip of farm from its neighbor, running straight as rulers set at right angles to the river to form long, narrow rectangles pointing inland. The plowed land looks like the course of a gigantic and empty steeplechase where all motion has been frozen. Every inch of it is measured and brooded over by notaries and blessed by priests. You can look north across the plain from the river and see the farms between their fences tilting toward the forest, and beyond them the line of trees crawling shaggily up the slope of the hills. The forest crosses the watershed into an evergreen bush that spreads far to the north, lake-dotted and mostly unknown until it reaches the tundra. The tundra goes to the lower straits of the Arctic Ocean. Nothing lives on it but a few prospectors and hard rock miners and mounted policemen and animals and the flies that brood over the barrens in summer like haze. Winters make it a universe of snow with a terrible wind keening over it, and beyond its horizons
Sample complete. Ready to continue?